Let's talk about the big Salesloft fiasco. What is Salesloft? It's an application that is often used for guiding customers through or guiding through that customer acquisition journey. And Drift, particularly, is an AI piece on top of that. What occurred is we have a bad guy, which as bad guys always are. There we go. This big red thing is our bad guy now. Bad guy is able to grab a whole bunch of credentials from the Salesloft side. How they got the access to these credentials still remains to be seen. We'll probably hear more as Mandy, I believe, maybe it's in the investigation, finishes out their investigation. But attacker was able to gain access to a whole bunch of users' authentication tokens in Salesloft Drift and use that user's OAuth token to then connect into Salesforce, where they eventually perform more credential harvesting just by doing searching and data exploration in Salesforce, and then those credentials can be used in many ways, which I'm going to talk about. That's overall what's occurring. A couple of things that you should probably understand about this. This is pretty classic identity supply chain stuff that we're talking about here. This is a bigger case of it. What happens when your vendor gets popped, and they have access into your environment, especially access this, it can be ridden upon. One thing that's also important to note on this side of the house is, hey, Salesloft, when you buy Salesloft in your as an organization, CISO, say we bought Salesloft, I don't connect Salesloft directly to Salesforce, right? That integration, I'm not saying, hey, everybody in Salesloft now gets access to Salesforce. Instead, it's per user. So my 3 salespeople instead are like themselves integrating into Salesforce or Google Workspace or Slack and all the places, right? That's some confusion that some folks have had when they're talking about this. Is it's not an org level thing. It's a per user, and that OAuth token is just being leveraged, meaning when the attacker uses that OAuth token, they get the permissions of the user that was compromised in this. That's at a high level what's going on, right? Attacker compromises a bunch of credentials here, uses those credentials to ride that integration into various places, performs credential harvesting there to then go carry out the rest of their mission from that side. If we were talking earlier last week, I would only be talking about the Salesforce side of this, right? But late last week, we learned from Mandiant that nope, the attacker didn't just steal OAuth tokens into Salesforce, also steal OAuth tokens into Google Workspace, Slack, and consider any integration in Salesloft, any OAuth tokens in Salesloft Drift to be compromised. From a timeline stance, what do we got, right? August 8th through 18th is a range of attacker activity that we're aware of publicly. Earliest, August 18th being the latest. And then on the 20th is when Salesloft disclosed the incident and kind of revokes all tokens. So we wouldn't expect any activity with the original anytime after August 20th based on this. On the 20th is also when victim notifications go out. And those victim notifications are coming out from Salesforce, Salesloft, and I think Google as well. On the 26th, we get focused on stealing even more credentials. And then late last week, that's when we realized the scope widened out much more than just Salesforce to be Google Workspace and Slack and various other integrations. This is also when folks proclaiming to be shiny hunters in the scattered Lapsus Hunter 4.0 Telegram chat make claims that they are the perpetrators of this attack as well. Which maybe brings us to the next part of this, which is the attribution side. Krebs did an awesome article on this. Highly recommend everybody read it. This screenshot is from that Krebs article. And this is where the folks proclaiming to be shiny hunters are saying that, hey, we did it. It's us. We got you. Ha. Right? Shiny hunters, just for folks who maybe don't keep up with everything Red Hat related here, they also have proclaimed that they are one and the same with Scatter Spider. At the very least, everyone can agree. They fall under that loose affiliation umbrella. That's Shiny Hunters making the claim on the Scatter Spider side and making the claim that they're responsible for this recent set of actions. Terrorist organizations claiming responsibility for attacks. Do you believe them? hey, we're going to classify this under UNC 6395. Everything that they're talking about in that Telegram channel is based on public knowledge. They're not saying anything that leads us to believe that they have private knowledge of the incident, and we're not seeing at this point any significant technical overlaps with the groups that they track under those names as well, right? So they're just saying, hey, we're going to make a new group, and we're going to make an UNC group, which looks under that unclassified group. Hey, we'll keep an eye out as we learn more. We'll learn that they fall into one of these other categories, but for now, we're tracking it out on its own. So pretty interesting side, nice stuff on the attribution side, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about this week, especially with the publicity they're getting at the moment. I really enjoy that. What do you do about this, right? If you are somebody that you might be affected, you should have gotten a victim notification, so you should know at this point if you have, or at least your organization should know. Those victim notification emails were going to directly to the salespeople that were involved, or to the people who are using the application. So make sure you're looking for certain subject lines related to that drift side there. But what do you do about this? Hey, from a timeline perspective, you should be focusing your efforts around the 8th through the 20th. Mandates have shared some indicators, ones that are probably easy for most people to look for. Hey, they shared some IPs, go look for them. Some of those are Tor exit nodes, so they might be a little noisy, but it's Salesforce stuff, right? You wouldn't expect a whole lot of Tor going into Salesforce, or at least I wouldn't expect that very often. DigitalOcean as well, and a little bit of AWS as well. The AWS one is probably going to be the noisiest of those if you're looking based on IP and ASN information alone. They also shared a bunch of user agents that could be involved. Those are pretty noisy user agents, and there are a couple that are less noisy, but you'll find that out as you review. But really focus in on who has different access than normal over that time period, and then focus in on the types of things that they're doing. Now, in order to do all that, you need logging. And this is where we get to a bit of a soapbox here, which is Salesforce logging in general. Salesforce, this one, it just really gets on my nerves quite a bit, which is SaaS applications. They come in two flavors. You get like one that doesn't log anything at all and is not useful logging in general, and there's a lot of ones that fall into that. Salesforce, I wouldn't say. They have decent logging. Not great, but they have decent logging. But they fall into the second category of things that suck, which is making you pay crazy money to have basic level of logging, right? So if you're a tier 1, which you get for free, you do get some stuff for free, right? Just to be clear. You get things like, hey, your login history. So you're going to get basic login events. You also get anything in the setup audit trail. So if somebody's consenting to an application, somebody adds Drift, Salesloft Drift into Salesforce, you can see that in that setup audit trail. But you don't get much else there. And if you want to be able to know, if you want to be able to detect that this was occurring, this stuff that happened here, and you wanted to be able to know what the attacker did while they were in your environment, you could not do it without going to tier 2, which is event monitoring, is what they call that. And that is 10% of whatever you spend with Salesforce is what it costs to get that. Pretty ridiculous. I get their storage cost. It doesn't make sense to me. We're not talking about that much data. And I can tell you that because I have many clients that do pay for this event monitoring services, or I don't know why anybody would, but going all the way up to tier 3 Salesforce Shield at 30% of your net spend. And hey, think about, like, for a large organization, many folks have already come out and said they've been affected by this. I think Palo Alto is the most recent one, and I won't go naming all the victims, but Palo Alto recently came out and said they were one of them. How much do you think their Salesforce spend is? I'm sure somebody could say, but I'm imagining it's in the millions of dollars. In the millions of dollars, now you got to pay 10% of that contract value to get basic level of monitoring. It's pretty ridiculous. But I tried to throw in here, like, this is what you get for free. This is what you get if you are willing to pay 10% of your contract value. And if you go 30%, you get a little bit more. I think diminishing returns if you go to tier 3. But I'll be honest with you, you need tier 2. Like, you can't do anything without tier 2 right now. So if you're sitting on tier 1, man, I'd be really arguing with whoever you're Salesforce rep is to get a very, very good deal on tier 2 event monitoring because you need it, and unfortunately, to be able to really detect what's going on. All right, so I know that was a long way to get there, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what's been going on the Salesloft side. For Permiso clients, if you're integrated with us, we're already looking for this activity, and we have some pretty good detection work already in place for you. So you're good to go there. And for the folks who aren't Permiso clients, there's a good amount of indicators being shared by the Google team. Highly recommend you get those and start reviewing. And I'm sure you'll see some more articles being shared with more indicators. I know at least we'll be sharing some things publicly once we're ready as well. So good luck. Hope everybody makes it through this on the other side.